Cobra Kai, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Oh shit. Yeah, perhaps I need to sit down before I end up hurting myself or breaking something. So yeah, anyway, by the time this video comes out, it'll be what, 3 days after Christmas. So Merry Christmas, Hana Kwanzaa, you guys. And more than likely, I'm probably not going to release another video before New Year's. So also Happy New Year's to everyone out there. Hopefully 2021 goes way better than 2020. We can only cross our fingers. But before I jump into it, I want to first and foremost send a special thank you to Netflix for giving me the opportunity to even see Cobra Kai Season 3 early. I really appreciate it. And also, if you guys can do me a favor and hit that like button, it'll really help with the YouTube algorithm and getting my channel and my video out there with the masses and helping me grow even beyond into 2021 and further. Like Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond. And so yeah, for Cobra Kai Season 3, this will be a non-spoiler review because obviously the show isn't out yet. Actually, just in case you guys don't know, the show Season 3 was originally supposed to come out on January 8th, but now it's coming out 7 days earlier. It's coming out on New Year's Day. And so yeah, with that, I'd be a complete a-hole if I spoiled it and it's not even out yet. So yeah, jumping into it, we last left off in Season 2 where all hell broke loose in a full-on Avengers Endgame type of karate battle at West Valley High School between Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai. And this war between the two dojos ended where Robbie, the student of Daniel LaRusso and the son of Johnny Lawrence, ended up kicking Miguel over a balcony where he ended up falling on a stair railing and basically cracking his back and ending up in the hospital. And it kind of reminded me of the moment that happened on The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Gwen Stacy. Oh, that's gotta hurt. I mean, obviously it did because spoiler alert, she died. And so yeah, Season 3 picks up basically 2 weeks after that incident. And like I said, Miguel is currently in the hospital. He's in a coma. Nobody knows if he's gonna wake up. Robbie is currently on the run and the whole town is ablaze and distraught and upset regarding this battle royale that happened at the high school. And so now you see our characters from the show, both adult and child alike, dealing with the consequences and the aftermath of this giant superhero fight that happened at the end of Season 2. And specifically how these consequences are affecting both Johnny and Danny. And I mean, the thing about this show that really surprises me, even going back to like the first season, is just how much it's making me care about a franchise that I never really had that much connection to. Like the first Karate Kid movie came out before I was born, and so I ended up seeing all 3 movies years later, and while I did enjoy them, but for the most part they just came and went for me. It's not something I was just like, ooh, the Karate Kid, I love the Karate Kid. It was just like, oh yeah, it was a decent movie. But the genius of what I think Cobra Kai is doing in an almost kind of wicked type of way, minus the music, is that it's taking this character that is perceived as the villain of the Karate Kid franchise, Johnny Lawrence, and it's basically telling it from his perspective. And it's really showing this different side to a character that you're supposed to hate within the Karate Kid franchise. And it kind of reminded me of something I said a while ago in one of the episodes that I reviewed for Lovecraft Country, where I said, at the end of the day, we are the heroes in our own story. However, in somebody else's story, whether intentionally or not, we're the villain. And they kind of touch on that in this series where there's a quote from one of the characters, and it actually says, I had it written down. It says, your whole life you've been told to be good, but good is a matter of perspective. Always remember that your enemies think that they're doing what's right. They think they're the hero and you're the villain. And so that right there essentially sums up what this entire series is, because in Daniel's eyes, Cobra Kai is the villain, but in Johnny's eyes, and it's because of this 30+ year rivalry between Danny and Johnny that it falls on the children. And like the William Shakespeare quote, the sins of the father are laid upon the children. And so with that, the thing that's very different about this season as opposed to the other two seasons is because of the fallout from the big high school brawl. This season focuses way more on the adult characters than the other seasons did. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean that the kids play absolutely no role in this season. The kids do play a very big role and are a very big part of season 3, but at the same time, there's way more focus on specifically Johnny and Danny and how they're handling the consequences of their children. And because of everything that's happened, it almost sees Daniel LaRusso going through a kind of personal crisis, because how does the fight affect his relationship with Robbie? How does the fight affect his relationship with his daughter Sam? How does this fight and the community's reaction to this fight affect his business? How does the community at large view karate and both Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai? Same thing with Johnny. We know from the last season, Johnny was starting to develop a more personal and intimate relationship with Miguel's mother. How does everything that happened, and now the fact that Miguel is in the hospital, how does that affect Johnny's relationship with Miguel's mother? How does everything that happened affect his relationship with his son, Robbie? How does it affect his relationship with Miguel, who's now in a coma? And then, of course, how does it affect his relationship with John Kreese, who also comes back to play a part in this season as well? And then how does this continue to perhaps change Johnny's outlook regarding Cobra Kai itself, since really he's the one that started this whole thing? And so all of that and more are really all the questions that you dive into regarding season 3. And yeah, so overall, I found this season to be pretty damn enjoyable. And I actually found myself binging almost the entire season in one sitting. And I actually saw season 3 a couple of weeks ago, so I'm like trying to remember everything. But I definitely really enjoyed stepping back into this world. There were definitely a lot of laughs to be had, especially with the relationship between Johnny and Danny, because for the most part, like if these two would just lay aside their ego and actually just sit down and have a conversation with each other, pretty much none of the conflict that existed in this show would happen. So you see right there, kids, that's a message for you. Put aside the toxic masculinity because it gets us nowhere. But then at the same time, if there wasn't any toxic masculinity and these two egos getting in the way and headbutting with each other, we wouldn't have a show. So keep all the toxic masculinity so I can get more seasons. And also a thing I kind of find hilarious and a running gag that they run and that they continue to run through with this season is just how the fact that Johnny really has no concept of the real world and technologies. They treat his character almost as if he was literally plucked out of the 80s and into today's world. So the fact that he doesn't know how to work a cell phone, because prior to like last season, he's never had a cell phone before. He doesn't know how to work a computer. He doesn't even know what Wi-Fi and wireless internet is. And granted, I kind of find it a little bit unrealistic, because I'm like, at a certain point, there's no way you could live in this world and go through this world and not interact or know anything about technology. I mean, hell, even the Amish use some level of technology in today's world. But at the same time, it's just funny watching him navigate through that. And William Zabka, the actor that plays Johnny, he sells it perfectly. Like, I just love watching this actor. Also, just like in the past 2 seasons, they continue to pay homage to the original Karate Kid franchise with the flashbacks. And also, we get to see a lot of familiar faces from the original movie, 2 of which I can actually talk about because they had a whole entire article about them in Entertainment Weekly in the characters of Chosen and Kimiko from Karate Kid 2. And while I will say, like, for the most part, it was nice to see their faces and nice to see Daniel-san interact with them after having not really seen them since Karate Kid 2. I feel like that particular episode doesn't really add anything to the overarching story. And if you take it away, you don't lose anything from the season. And I get perhaps what they were trying to do with them showing up. And then, of course, you know, nostalgia for Karate Kid 2. But at the same time, like, if you're going to introduce them, make it more essential to the plot. And in my opinion, I think their appearance didn't really add anything. And so speaking of not really adding anything, I did mention John Kreese. He does come back as the villain of this show overall. And for the most part, I kind of find it funny that the whole premise of this show is taking a character of Johnny's perspective and kind of making him the hero of the story. But when it comes to John Kreese, it's pretty much black and white. And it's like, no, he's the villain. There is no nuance. And while yes, they do kind of add some some backstory to his character to show why he is the way he is, and even adding things to his story and life and character that you never got in any of the 3 Karate Kid movies. And while I now have a deeper understanding of why he is the way he is, I still have absolutely no sympathy for this character. And I'm just like, yeah, you told me why he's the way he is, but at the same time, there's no excuse for him to be the way he is, especially considering this man is like 75 years old. And for him to be acting the way he's acting and still pitting kids against each other, and as a grown-ass 75-year-old man with one foot in the grave still wants to fight other grown men around his age, I'm just like, yeah, no, you're trash, and there's no excuse for your behavior. I don't care what trauma you went through in your personal life, and I don't want to say too much because, you know, spoilers, because I'm just like, at a certain point, you need to grow the hell up. But at the same time, I'm like, it's all still fun to watch, and I'm here for it. Now, does that mean this show is perfect? No. And one of the things I do come up against with the show is pretty much every single major plot point in this show I predicted, and I was correct in my predictions. And that's not entirely a bad thing, because I always say, just because something's predictable doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, because for the most part, there's not anything new under the sun. Every story's been told, so technically speaking, every story is predictable. But at the same time, I was just like, this is very predictable. This season was way more predictable than the first 2 seasons. Also, another thing with this show, I feel like the timeline was kind of a little wonky. Like, I'm not going to get too much into spoilers and say what, when, why, how, all that stuff, but one of the characters, but this is just an example that I can give regarding the timeline, but one of the characters ended up getting their arm broken. And if you know, a broken arm takes about 6 to 8 weeks to heal. But the very next scene, that character's arm was almost completely healed. And I'm just like, wait, what? But kind of like how Han Solo said in The Force Awakens, that's not how the Force works. That's not how broken arms work. Unless somebody has a Wolverine healing factor or a Buffy the Vampire Slayer healing factor that I don't know about. Anyway, also a final gripe of mine regarding the show, and it's not something I hated, but at the same time, I was like, come on now. Because this is a show about karate, so you have to have fighting scenes in the show. There's certain elements that happen with the fighting, specifically with the kids, and certain scenarios that the kids find themselves in, that was just like, yeah, no, in real life, none of these kids will be able to get away with this stuff. Like, somebody call the cops. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, I was just like, how are like half of these characters not all in jail right now? But yeah, overall, like I said, despite my gripes, I had fun watching this season. I really enjoy what they're doing with this franchise and with Cobra Kai. And I would probably more than likely watch season 3 all over again. And I definitely want to see what they have in store for season 4. Now, I will say, based on how this season ended, I don't necessarily see this show and franchise going beyond. I would even give it, I would say, season 5. Now, before I give this series my official rating, if you've been with my channel long enough, you probably know what I'm going to say. And it's something that I say pretty much all the time. It's something that I call for all the time. But obviously, it's something that I was thinking of while I was watching this show. Considering a lot of the premise regarding this show is about overcoming bullying, I feel like it was definitely a missed opportunity. Like, where's the gay kid wanting to learn karate to protect himself from homophobic students? Why is there only one black kid? Now, granted, Miguel, who's pretty much the lead of the show, I'm glad that him and his family are pretty much brown-skinned Latinos. But at the same time, I can't help thinking to myself, I'm like, how much more interesting would it be if Johnny took on this kid, Miguel, who turned out to be a gay kid, and taught him karate to overcome homophobic bullies at school? And then it'll end up changing Johnny a little bit. He's becoming this father figure to this little gay kid. And then perhaps instead of Sam being Daniel LaRusso's daughter, Sam is now Daniel LaRusso's son. And I know I'm like basically almost writing a completely different show, but at the same time, I'm not really. It's just something that I think about because I'm just, honestly, I'm tired of these straight narratives. Now, granted, I still have fun with it, but I'm just like, I want some gay. And black, of course, because pretty much everything is just so straight and white. Again, granted, Miguel's not white, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Most of the characters in this show are white. But yeah, getting that rant out of the way, I had to say it though, but overall, I would say Cobra Kai Season 3 is a solid hit. One more final note. I will say, considering Daniel LaRusso has 2 children in this show, a son. His character pretty much plays absolutely no role in this show. I think he had like one scene in this entire season, and then they don't even mention him. And I'm just like, why even introduce this character if you're not going to do anything with him? But yeah, that's another thing I thought. But yeah, overall, have you guys seen Cobra Kai seasons 1 and 2? Are you a fan of Karate Kid? What do you guys think of the Cobra Kai series so far? Are you looking forward to season 3? Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, if you can, hit that thumbs up button and like this video to really help out the channel. And if this is one of your first time checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. And if you like what you see, please subscribe for more and hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. And tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And I can't emphasize it enough, guys. Please, 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 please hit that like button. I noticed that I'll have a video that I have like 400 views, but only like 20 people hit the like button. And yeah, with the way YouTube works and with them changing up the algorithm, the closer your like to view ratio is, the more likely YouTube is willing to recommend your channel to other people. So again, please, 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 please hit that like button. And again, subscribe for more videos. Thank you so much. And as always, I will catch you guys next time. Happy New Year.